first question I just wanted to ask you is, how did you get into ice hockey?
Well, in Canada, for many people, it's just ice hockey is almost like football in the UK. You grow up, everybody plays it. But for me, where it, uh, it was just a natural thing to do in the street. And ice, hockey was the game that we played in the street in the winter. And it was cold enough that we would get ice, natural ice. Um, Community in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So I learned to skate, and they had the minor hockey, and they put me in that, and kind of took right off. And then it was a big part of my life after that. So I got in early, and fairly early, not that early. Not I didn't think I played my first until I was 10, and now they play their first door when they were 5, 4 and 5. But anyway, I started early, and always been a part with me. I've been involved in hockey for holy.
Wow. And then obviously saying there, so what positions did you play when you were starting out?
What position? I started out as a goalie, and because I couldn't skate, and then I learned to skate, and then I moved out, and anyway, I was pretty half decent, and kept a little bit, and then I ended up playing right up through. So yeah, that's how it kept. Then I got into coaching, so lots of fun.
So with your coach and stuff, I mean, how would you rate yourself as a player when you played back then?
Well, I was a back hard working guy. I would say I was a gritty, hard working, not super. I had a big, I think I had a big heart, and I could skate. So, and the um and when I played, over here we play junior, high school, college hockey. Then I went over to the Europe play, and then I came back home. But in Atlantic Canada at the time, and where now we have Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon and uh, a lot of really Dobson, a real top defense. We got players here now in Atlantic Canada, but we before, and so the development much before way back in my day. Got I trained with guys and played against guys that went to play in the National Hockey League. Not a lot of them, and back I think if you got to the NHL, you were an exception as environment because we didn't have great training programs like they do today in Atlantic Canada, and it shows. We produce a lot of NHL players now. Back in my day, we just played season to season and away you went. But I did have guys that went on, friends of mine that were in the National Hockey League that I played with growing up, and it was so it was really good like that. So I went to Europe, but then when I came back, teams in Atlantic there were leagues in Atlantic Canada and senior leagues. Senior leagues, and they would bring, let's say in Newfoundland, which is a big province, they had their own league. They would bring imports in. And so I did that for being an import in the senior leagues. And, you go in, earn a salary for the years, and then it was not a bad way for a young guy to make a living. But I did that for 2 or 3 years. And then I retired from being a player. And then I decided I would go back to university. When I went back to university where I had played and studied, then I decided I would do a master's degree, and I would also get into coaching. That's when I first got into coaching. I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I might be a teacher. I might be I don't know what I was going to do. But then I decided coaching would be something I like. And I think so I've been in my passion for 40 years. That's, I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed coaching. I enjoyed being around the game. I wasn't going to be a player anymore. So I thought coaching would be the next best thing. And in many, many ways, I was correct. That making, it's been a tough, it's been an interesting battle to make your life as a professional coach for all these years. So, but I think I've I know I've coached in every level that the hockey world has to offer. And I got a lot of stories. I think I do. I like to think I do. I got a lot of stories. Yeah.
And how did you find it, being at such a young age going in to be a coach? I mean, with the players and everything, how did they react to you when you first started out?
How did I find it?
Yeah.
Well, I found it, when you first start, I just kind of, so, I was an assistant coach for 4 years before I got my first head job. So I was just, I just, I stand back a little bit, but I still was myself, I tried to be myself all the time. And I wasn't going to be anybody else. I didn't have to be. So, everyone's different. I think I was a guy that got along and enjoyed people and tried to always help people and work with and get to know them. That's so important. So I, I made that transition, and I made that transition. I went coached, as an assistant coach here in Canada. Then I went to the A for 2 years, which was really great. That kind of got me really started as a quality level, and the whole system of recruitment, as in how the NCAA guys do it, and being part of that in a good league. And I really enjoyed that. And then I got my first head job back in Canada, and I took that and never really looked back too much. Yeah, it was all good.
And that's the thing. I mean, when you look at your career and everything that you've done, you know, not just there, but abroad and internationally. I mean, looking back on it now, I mean, you must have had so many amazing experiences
Well, I
coaching.
have. I mean, I like to think, if I was to look at my experiences, the highlights for me would be I my highlights for me would be our first championship that a team I was with ever won, which was a university championship here in Canada. My second year with the University of New Brunswick, I was as an assistant coach. That was really special. We didn't win the national championship, but we won the championship of the East. And then to get my first head job at Acadia University, and we built the program over a period of 7, 8 years, and we built it to be the top program at that time. For those 4 or 5 years, we were the top program in Canada, and we had a lot of really, really good players that we brought in, and we won the national championship. We built it. We had a great fan base. We had great support in Atlantic Canada, in Nova Scotia, and my wife is always is gets a little annoyed with me because I left that position to pursue other things, hockey things, and but we had a pretty nice life in we had a nice life in Nova Scotia at Acadia University, but I left. I wanted to try different things, and you know, it's never been an easy road. I mean, there's always hockey's uh, very how would I put it, volatile. The whole environment, you never know what's going to blow up on you, and you never know when you go into work for a different team. Every management is different. Uh, how I would say, great people, people that you can't, then you meet people that are just non-trustable, uh, unethical, ethical. You meet your unethical guy, I guess, like in any business. But I think over the course of all those years, I've met a lot of different people. And going back to the highlight, I guess, then to a big highlight for me was we built our program at Acadia over a period of years, and then we became the best, as I said, the best team in the country. And then we won the national championship 2 out of 3 years, and we were right in there. So that was really good. Then I got my first, what I'll call professional job, although all of it's professional. That's what you do for a living. Then signed with got a job through my old coach, my old university coach. I got a job with the Calgary Flames organization. So I got to be a coach in that organization, and then we were coaching the American Hockey League team in St. John, New Brunswick, and we had a really good year, and we lost in the Calder Cup finals. We didn't we played right until June the 3rd. We were the only team in Canada still playing. We had a lot of publicity and a lot of eyes focused on how we did, but we lost in 7 games, and it was tough. But that's just one. I mean, I kind of think I've done a lot of things, or experienced a lot of things, and I've coached in Germany, Switzerland, Finland, top leagues in the world, and then was fortunate enough to go on and coach in the World Championships, coaching 5 World Championships, coach and in the Olympics, coach in the World Championships, the Olympics, American Hockey League, National Hockey League, major, junior, college in the Canada and the US, and all those European leagues. So I guess I've coached just about everywhere, but I've enjoyed it. It's not like I've been a vagabond. I haven't meant to be a vagabond. I just enjoy it. So, and the I guess the thing about coaching is, you go where the jobs are and the opportunities are if you want to continue to pursue that. And I guess my journey in recent years has taken me to some increasingly interesting places. And right now, just being in another great experience for me. And last year was special. We had a heck of a season when you look at where we came from and just the recent history of how the Flyers have been, and just to stay in that fight like we did all the way. We fought right to the end, as best we could, and how we turned it up in January and really and beat everybody in the league. We beat every team in the league from Christmas on, and that was a great experience to go into Belfast and win, and go into Cardiff and win, beat Sheffield at home. Those aren't, we were the first team to knock Sheffield off on the road. And that was really, that was a real compliment to our guys. And so there were so many good things that happened with our team last year. Our fans were super, and everybody kind of was I would say, reinvigorated to continue with being a part of the Fife Flyer family. So I had a really good time. My wife and I got to travel and go to fishing villages, little villages, and pubs and cafes, and into the Highlands of Scotland, and up to Inverness, and there's a lot more out there to see. I mean, there's some beautiful, beautiful places. I thought Scotland was really breathtaking in many, and that Glencoe area was something I had never really seen before. I loved driving through there, and we did it a couple times, and I want to do it again. And anyway, I had a great time in Scotland, and but the people around the organization were wonderful to me too. So that always makes it special.
And
So,
how did that come about? The offer from
okay, okay. Well, it's interesting in a way how it came about. I mean, I was I had just come off of 4 years. I had been in Poland and had some good success in Poland. And I went to Slovakia, where the league was really good, and my team was doing pretty well. And but they're a high-strung bunch down there. That's all. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, so I came home, and I was not going to coach anymore. I just said, I think I've had enough. And of all things, my wife said to me, she looked and she said, yeah, but if you got to coach in a really nice place, then I think you should do it again. So I said, okay, I didn't expect to hear that from you, but anyway, I before I got an opportunity to go to Fife, I did accept a job in Merano, Italy, which we felt that would be a beautiful place to spend the winter. You're in the Alps, really old, that southern Bavaria kind of feel, and which I love Bavaria, and just south there, I forget what they call it, the Allgäu or something. Anyway, so I had planned to go in there. Then an agent I was speaking with called me, and we looked at the possibility. He told me that, well, Fife was their management coaching staff had just stepped down, so they were in. So I basically called Tom Muir, who was the main owner of our team, and we talked. And then the next thing I knew, he offered me the job, and I wanted to go. I was interested in coming to the UK League anyway, because well, first of all, I felt it was the level of hockey is good. So it's hard. I had been to Belfast before with my teams in the Continental Cup, or with my team from Katowice in the Continental Cup. And one, it was a beautiful arena, Two, we had really good fan support for that tournament. And I also, looked at the other big places in, where the Cardiffs and the Glasgow's and all that stuff. Anyway, I felt, and I had never, and I from New Scotland, and thought that it would be a very good. I thought it would be an interesting spot to go to. So I worked that out. I resigned, which I had the right to, the contract right to do so. I resigned on a Friday and accepted the offer on a Monday. So then my work really started, because then I was going to Fife, and I had to put a team together. So that's what I did all last summer, and that's what I've done all this summer. So that's just part of it. Yep.
Mm.
So that's how this all came about.
And then,
Yeah.
because you've seen it from the outside, I mean, how was it actually being there week in, week out in the league? How did you find the league and the players and the opposition?
Oh boy. Well, the league's tough. It's we're not the highest budget in the league by any stretch. And so it's frustrating to when you have when well, I would say compete, but it's not even when you're first of all competing to get the players. Good players make good coaches, I always say. And it's not easy to make an offer for a player and know that he's, in on a bigger operation, that he's going to get, 50% more than I can offer a guy, or, another, fairly large sum. And I can't, anyway, that's tough to compete. So I have to find guys in different ways. Like this year, we've got four players from Kazakhstan coming in. That should all be able to compete pretty hard at our level, and have shown that. So, anyway, so that's basically what I've did all last summer, recruited a team, and we competed, and here again this year. But as far as competition levels, every game for us is a battle. There's not an easy game. There's no easy games. And to go into a Belfast and kind of play at that level coming off the road, not easy. It's not easy. Very challenging. And I don't think we're playing with an even deck. How's that? I know we're not playing with an even deck. And just in how some teams travel, some teams, go on the road compared to how we go on the road. Like I'm not complaining. That's the reality is, but it's not easy. And then all of a sudden, if they throw a midweek game at you in the schedule, that's very hard on our team. However, this year seems like we're playing mostly on the weekends, and that's a plus. That's a good thing for us. But anyway, every game's tough. Every game's super tough. So, and if you're ready to play, and if you have a team that wants to battle, that will battle every night, then you give yourself a chance. And that's all you ever want. Give yourself a chance to win, or if you're playing at the top of your game, you can win. So it's challenging.
Then,
Excuse me. Yeah.
then with this season, you obviously been recruiting, players have been announced, and you've still got some to announce. How would you describe what you want to set your team out to be next season?
Mm-hmm. Well, I looked at it long and hard, and you always want to close the gap on the team in front of you, and what you think you have to do. So for me, our top guys last year were going to move on or have moved on to higher opportunities financially and perhaps career wise. So, you're going to lose a couple guys. Then you have, so I wanted, I wanted a certain amount of guys back, but some of them were opted to play for other teams. I had no personal issues with anybody, but some guys opted to go to different teams for various reasons. And so, this year we don't have as many people maybe coming back as people might have thought we would bring back, but everybody wants something different. And so it turned out, I had to more or less put a whole new team together. And I did. So what I think, we have Shane Owens back in the net. So there's a start. He'll be our starter, and he's been a really good starter and a really good goalie in our league. So I expect Shane to continue. On defense, I look at our defense as being, and this is where I'm the biggest transition with. I want it to go from a team that could not only defend, I wanted to go to a team. The best teams have the puck the most time. They control the puck the most. And I just feel that in order for us to be a better team, better oiled machine, we need to not only get the puck, but keep the puck. And so I tried to build it to a shift to a team that had better or has better puck control than the team we had last year. So I kind of pushed toward more, in my opinion, more mobile defense and a defense that can penetrate with the puck more, as in pass the puck on sticks, find holes, move it out easier, a more mobile defense back there. Although we were fairly mobile, but I'm thinking that but we've got more guys, in my opinion, that can play the power play, can be dangerous on the power play. And we've got a more mobile defense that I think will be better on the puck than our group was last year. Didn't mean to say we didn't have some guys that stood out, but I just felt that I needed to change how our team approached the game, and that I wanted to be better with the puck than we were last year when we had it. More dangerous on the back end. Now I'm talking about with our defense. More mobile, better with the puck. Well, that's what I wanted. And up front, well, that's just another interesting vision, I guess you might say. We had last year, we didn't get that much out of maybe our bottom three or four guys, but all in all, scored. And I look at our team this year, the players we have. I know we're going to have good speed. I think we got enough. I think we're going to be skilled. I've got a whole line of Cossacks that played really, really well in the Continental Cup, and we're the top scoring line in the Continental Cup, which is a real good level of play. And I would hope and I believe the same players will be able to carry that over. So I'm looking at them to be a very interesting group and guys that'll be better as the year goes on. And then we got Lucas Chiodo coming back from last year. He was in the second half. He was our top point getter after Christmas. He's back. Um, we've got some, 5 new guys. Well, I got a lot of new guys. Drake Pilon's back, returning. He was a fan favorite, and he's a guy you can use in every situation. And he showed a lot of heart and a lot of courage, and I like that a lot. So he'll be back in there, but we'll have an interesting group, and I'm just finalizing my last player. That's where we're at.
So when you make the roster and what you plan in your mind, what you're there, do you look at what the other teams are doing, or is it a case of focus on what you want and then everything else will just be what it be?
I look a little bit, I look a little bit, but I also know that most situations I focus on my own group. Like, and I'm not trying to, I don't look to say, oh, Sheffield signed this guy at center. I better sign another guy because if we play against them, he can match up against this guy. I don't really look at it that way. I just try to get the best players I can. And, people that are look from the outside looking in, they don't know the challenges of recruiting a player. I mean, it can be not very difficult to get that final guy that you want. And, I'd like to have a few more. I would like to have Osterberg and Lajeunesse back from last year, but that's not going to happen. They came in, they did their time, they played well, and then they moved on. So that's the way my job. Because everybody, the one thing I don't like about this league, if a guy plays well, then the other team comes in and they'll take them, or they'll try to, and that sucks. You bring a kid in, like in college, you bring a guy in. Normally, you're going to have him for 3 or 4 years. Here, which most of the teams deal in 1-year contracts, and so everybody's a free agent. And that's the way it works. Yeah. So we're going to be together in a month. We're getting ready to roll, and almost all the pieces are in place. I got one final piece that's a very, very important piece to add. I think I may have that done, but I may not. And we shall see. That's where I'm at, Steve.
Yeah. And then obviously it's nearly here. The fans are already excited and stuff like that. So the final question for me is, what message would you have to the five fans, if I can say it?
Well, I would say that they supported us so well last year, and we're all part of the same fam. We're all part of the Flyer family, and here we go again. We're going to need we need their support. We need their patience. Not going to be easy, and it's going to be a big challenge again this year. But I expect that we'll be right. I hope, knock on wood, that we'll be right in there. But I'm excited to come back, and I had a great time last year. Wonderful people, and it was a very, very satisfying year. One of my favorite years in coaching last year. Some highlight years. I've had some highlight years and feel good years where I felt that, geez, we got everything out of that group. And when you do that, you don't from my end, it's not necessarily winning a the trophy that makes it a successful year. Like last year, for us, we found a way. We made the playoffs. We battled hard. We kept the fans behind us, and right up till the very last day, we were putting people. We put more people in at the end than we did at the start, which is really positive. So it was an exciting year. Like really, really was. I had so much, and I had just a lot of enjoyment last year, seeing our team gel and getting those hard fought wins on the road. Oh yeah, it was a very, very personally extremely rewarding year for me, and I liked it a lot. And so here we go again, and that's I guess when I look at it, I hope I feel as good about it next year at this time that I do right now. You know, I just hope we are able to continue with what we did last year along that line. Just battle, challenge everybody. We're not a pushover. No one's going to take Fife lightly. And that's what you gun for. You don't want it to be. You want to be respected in the league. And all the feedback I've got is that, once teams realize that we were not being where we weren't a pushover, then I think people had a lot of respect for us. And especially we were tough at home. We challenged everybody. We beat every team, I think, at home last year. And on the road we stole some big games. So all in all, she's good. Well, look forward to it.